Hello Commanders, and welcome back to my tutorial series on how to play Fortnite Save the World. In today's video, I am going to guide you through and show you step by step how to build, trap, and then defend your home base Storm Shield Defense number 9. And then upon completion of it, you will receive various XP amounts, mini reward llamas, and X-ray tickets. But be reminded, if you have a founder's account like I do here, you will also receive V-Bucks. But otherwise, let's go ahead and load in to our home base Storm Shield and get started. Okay, once you enter your home base, and as you make preparations for your Storm Shield Defense number 9, you now find yourself at a crossroads, if you will, and you have an important decision to make. And that would be when it comes to the placement of your flex amplifier. Now the flex is located directly to the south from your home base amplifier and the dip amplifier. It's right here. And you can either place in the field, up here on the hill, or down in the mine. And my recommendation without hesitation is to absolutely place in the field. Now, this recommendation is based off of the builds that I'm providing, to you when it comes to your defenses, but also in the future when it comes to endurance. Now, the endurance build that I have provided, and I do have a playlist for that on my YouTube page. So once you complete your home base Storm Shield Defense number 10, you'd want to start working on your endurance without question there as well. But it really does all tie in, and this is the placement that I have in my recommendation. So we're going to go ahead now and place it. And whenever you do place an amplifier, I do want to point out this box right here. This is the aggro or target point for the enemies. When it comes to the build, I would recommend that you at least build something around your amplifier, because this is your last layer of defense in case something were to go wrong with your builds. For the amplifier, you will receive attacks from the east, the south, and we're going to call it the southwest down here. I've built stone around the amplifier for protection during war games because of your shortcut modifier out here, and as I recommend it for new players for that valuable gold. But we are going to go ahead and start out here on the east, and it's going to connect off what we have previously done. If you are just finding this series for the first time and you have not seen the previous builds, I do have the link down in the description below for the entire playlist. And you can go back with Storm Shield Defense number 1 and work your way to this point. And I actually recommend that you do. All right. So we had our block off out in this area that I had mentioned previous. And I'm actually going to wrap around here as well. And then you have a little section here. Let me go ahead and knock down our trees in that. Remember, anything that you take down from the Storm Shield before your defense occurs is gone forever. But I do want you to go with a block off here. Edited pyramid facing to the north. Just like this. And then you'll have your ceiling. Be mindful of this area and this connection here. You just want to keep it safe. Also remember that where you stand during an active defense does make a big difference. So I do want to point that out. But please make sure that you are mindful of this area up here on the natural terrain. And we're going to go ahead and make sure it's all at tier 3. Now, if you have activity during your Storm Shield Defense for some reason, you could always come back out in here and add some block off. But this would come down to, you know, only if you've seen something. I think otherwise you're going to be good to go. We're doing storm shield defenses after all, not endurance right now. But in the future, when you do endurance, you will have to address this area more. This won't get it done, I must admit to you.
Yeah, not possible.
And we're not only building for Storm Shield Defense number 9 now, we're also taking into consideration Storm Shield 10. So anyway, we'll go ahead and seal that down and we are good to go. Then out here, I would go with your wall darts. And as a reminder, when it comes to this entire build, all we have placed is your common wooden floor spikes and the uncommon wall darts and ceiling gas trap. These 3 traps only and alone. That way it's relatable to everyone because at this point you would have all 3 of these traps. All right, and we're just going to line our darts down through these areas here.
Whoa, sorry.
Just kind of wrapping it around. This is a spawn area out here, so I would, you know, take care of this for sure. Just clear it on out of here. Otherwise, we look pretty good. Now, off of this here, the enemies are going to work their way down, and they try to go this way. But I actually do not want you to send the enemies this way. So instead, I want you to do a block off here, facing directly to the northeast when we are talking about your floor and edited pyramid piece. So we'll go ahead and place that right here. All right. Against natural terrain, you can always mix in stone if you wish. Nothing wrong with that. But otherwise, I want an edited pyramid right here and here. And then up in this area is everything that we've already shown you. Then as I work my way up, I want you to add something similar to what we've done before. Right, just box this around with your ceilings, your access points, and then I like 1/3 walls down here. Really will ensure that they walk around your builds. So basically, it is 3 across and a total of 2 out. 3 by 2. And then everything in this area, you want tier 3. Now, you can utilize wood, stone, or metal. My recommendation is always metal because it's the strongest. But if you don't have the resource, could you clear using just, you know, wood or stone? Absolutely. Recommendation to you, just make sure it's all the same tier throughout your entire block off and or tunnel, so there are not weaker areas where enemies can aggro on you. All right?
Yeah, not possible.
And there's really not a whole lot when it comes to this area right here.
Nope. Whoa, sorry.
So everything is properly tiered now. Working our way down, ensuring we don't miss anything. And if you run out of material, just go grab a little bit more metal. If traps are becoming a concern for you, I do have some tips at the end how we can repurpose and or distribute here. And it's actually, I've done this on purpose so that we can show you by adding extra to the build. Could cut down the farming for you a bit. So everything here, again, tier 3 without missing. And And then our pyramid would face the way our floor is to the northeast here. And this gets sealed down. And then from here, ceiling, ceiling, wall, wall, wall. And then they're just going to drop straight down here.
What to build?
All right. And then for a smooth transition, I like this right here. And then up you go.
Yeah, not possible.
Now, all of the floors that you see, if you have it, would be wooden floor spikes. I want to remind you, though, if you place your first wooden floor spike, you will get a full tile snare plus 1, 2, another half a slowing effect. So theoretically, if you have this one right here, you would be good here, here, until you get to that point there. But because, you know, we've done our farming and we have the resource, I would just go back to back to back here like I've shown you. And then this is all good. And you'd want a wooden floor spike down here. A dart right here. A dart here and here. And if you wanted to, another dart right here. Make sure you do not connect your trap tunnels to your amplifier. And then you could also come over here and drop one on this side. And then again, everything at the proper tier. Okay.
Whoa, sorry.
And then you'd have a dart here, here, and here. And then you saw the dart down there and off of the amplifier. And then we mentioned here, and of course over here. Okay, up we go. We want to make sure if we're missing any darts to just fill in those areas. And then above the wooden floor spikes, I want you to put gas through here. Not here though. On your one tile range like this. If you have a smasher or a blaster or a taker, make it to this point. The dart could shoot here. This is extra. And then you have your dart shooting here, here, and out here. Could also shoot one across this way. If you are concerned about it, you would be covered otherwise through here. And then if you had that action again this way, we'd want to make sure we take that in consideration and upgrade it.
Yeah, not
And just double check everything. Now, when it comes to your base placement, because your tunnel is middle center this way, I would try to find a block off section like right here and put your stone here. That way, if you wanted to, you know, run base off of your tunnel, that's a good location for it. And it'll spread nicely down and through and around. But overall, this is your build for your east attack. Now, if you could squeeze additional darts in here for some reason, it is. Now, I will let you know that if you are standing and getting too curious over in this area, potentially things can walk around and get after you, but we're going to deal with that with our build here. And something I like to do, I just like to connect everything, so I'll throw another piece there. But those 3 traps, if you need to save again, you can sacrifice the wooden floor spikes. I would still keep all 3 across here for the entry point. Well, not maybe this one, but you'd have this one and this one, right? So you're coming in, 1, 2, you start over. You come here, it's 1, 2, you'd start over. So you go back to back here again and then work down. But I would tell you, if you can, use all the way through. All right. So that should take care of everything this direction.
Yeah, not possible.
All right, so now we're going to work our way over here to this southwest area and or attack. Now, in our previous build, we've already blocked off down here. All right. Now, in the future, back there, I have a dart, but there's nothing we can do right now. All right. So, we'll start working our way up. And this is dependent upon, of course, where the spawn will occur. You could potentially lose this right here. I do want to point that out. In endurance, you absolutely would lose that. Okay, so if you're concerned with, just start here then instead. All right. And then we'd work around like this. And these would be darts. This would be your ceiling. You'd work up and around, just like I am showing here. Remember, I like the pyramid over the stair because the stair can kind of hang them up a bit. And I want you to be mindful of that and cautious of it. All right, these would be darts here. And then your dart will shoot 1, 2. Probably not going to get a lot of play there, but you could potentially on foot level.
Oh, sorry. Let's see.
They would work up here, 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 and here, down to here. All right. And then you can decide if you want your finisher here, or if you think you need a little bit more heat, then you go more. We'll wrap it into your other build, though. All right, and then all your walls would have darts again, just like I am showing you. This area will not provide you a lot of room, so you may want to extend another tile out here. But again, I'm going to see how that wraps in when we do the build here for you. And then, of course, you've got your wooden floor spikes down. Okay. Gas would go here. They'd work out. Dart here.
Yeah, not possible.
Could have your dart here and around. Let's go ahead and get some more metal, though, so we can ensure everything's upgraded to the proper tier, to include the stone that we had before. And as we go back and forth here, you can get your count on approximately how much material we're using. You know, for every time we come back and grab our metal. All right.
Yeah, not
So let's
possible.
go around. We'll talk about over there and over here, of course. Again, I like this here. I actually like a piece here too, believe it or not.
Whoa,
And then these would be darts here, here, and out here. They would come out and try to attack here at the box. So your darts would be here and here. As they come down through here, we already have our darts shooting in and out to our other areas.
oh, sorry.
So very similar from both,
Yeah, not
perspective.
possible.
Or perspectives. Okay. All right. So everything looks good there. And that would cover your attack from the west. And then again, we would have a situation where we need to be mindful of a base placement potentially if you want to run your base here. And we don't really have a whole lot of options when it comes to it, unless you were to do something out over here. And that is something that we're going to talk about next, where we'll almost use the base for both attack points.
Nope.
Then of course you got your darts working here. I actually place another dart out here too for right now, because you've got this all sealed down. And again, these darts, there's not a lot here, so they could come out, but we're going to work more in for you. Right, so you'd come here and connect this. So you'd follow their path basically, right? You're in, you're in, you're in, you're in. All right, you just connect it down as they walk into the objective here on that side. Now, if you don't want it connected here again, remember how I tell you don't connect? Just throw it behind here, so it's not connected to the build. It's something you don't want to do, actually.
Yeah.
And if you happen to get a smasher charge here to break that wall, you would still be good with this one to protect and shoot across. All right, so that should cover you that direction. So we have this little terrain here. I would go ahead and block this off, facing to the south. And then you'd have your pyramid on top. We'll edit for now so that we can get everything upgraded. Definitely pay attention here. Okay, then you just wrap against the wall. And then I just like to take it this way, honestly. Not a whole lot of room here, believe it or not. So I'm usually middle center here. I'm going to build out. And then you're going to go across and across. And then I would go just like this here too. Something similar to what we've done before. This would wrap around here. This would come out here. And then right up here, you could go ahead. We'll have to edit it in a minute, but you come out here, right? A nice 1/3 wall, just like this here. And then if they enter, you start your trap tunnel process down. Into there. All right, everything gets tiered up.
Nope. Yeah, not possible.
And I do want to show you how it all works, honestly, when it comes to, you know, when you have your traps or your builds all done and you might not have many resources remaining, right? Maybe you have something somewhere that's a little deeper than it needs to be, and then you go back and you acquire the resource for it. Now back here, believe it or not, I actually do like another block off here. It just keeps it safe. All right. This would be up to you though if you wanted to add it. Do I think it's absolutely necessary? I'm not going to say it's absolutely necessary, but would it make a difference for you? I would say yeah. Right, and you'd face it towards the, you know, direction you're going. Or again, if you wanted a different direction, you just face it that way and it faces toward the block off. That's what I always like to do when you're building up your own structure. I'd put that there though and put another block off back here. I think it plays. We'll save traps that way too. Same thing here. I would just block this off.
Whoa, sorry.
Facing directly to the south. It'll save you traps. And that's important. You want to save traps when you're rocking here. All right, let's go get some more metal. And we actually have our base coil when we're running too that will help you with your wall strength on your amplifier if anything makes it there. This is a little interesting though on 9 because they don't give you a lot of room to adjust. You kind of have to go off, you know, what you're... It is what it is basically.
Yeah, not possible. Whoa, sorry.
They will if you try to block this off. They get curious right here. I do want to point that out. Okay, this is a block off. Again, we'll just get this ready. We'll have 2 things here. You've got your wall shooting there. You've got your dart shooting 1, 2, and 3 here. Please don't miss any of your block off. That way the enemies don't try to, you know, get after you.
Nope.
By aggroing on those weak areas. All right, and this is back here, and then this is your ceiling to finish it. Here and here. Here and here. Dart would shoot 1, 2 into the 3 here. So if you wanted, right, you got 1, 2, 3 middle. You could go another wall here. And you have 1, 2, right? It would cross and you'd have coverage from both sides basically.
Nope.
And I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this in.
What to build? Huh.
I would put a wall here.
Whoa, sorry.
This would be a 1/3 wall out front. So if they enter here, they've got to come around and through.
Yeah, not possible. Whoa, sorry.
Already mentioned to you about down here. It's kind of tough because again, you can't get into
Nope.
the area that much. That seals down. All this is upgraded. Of course, you'd be looking again for your base placement, wherever that might be or where you want it. I mentioned to you about over here as well, right?
Whoa,
So if you wanted to connect everything here, for instance, right? I would go ahead and do this instead. Do another block off right here.
I see.
And it's just right off your other trap tunnel. All right. Just all connects. And then if everything's connected, then you could run, right? You could run your base either here on this structure or on this here. It would really and generally just come down to whatever you wanted. I would probably put it over here though. And then this all gets connected again. They will potentially try to work their way through here,
Not possible.
so be mindful of that. But we have it all protected if they do. And that's what it is when we're building trapping, right? We treat it like anatomy. All of the veins will lead to the heart eventually. If you can get the darts out here, I would sneak them all the way out this way.
Whoa, sorry.
And we always go back and just make sure.
Yeah, not possible.
Now, a couple of areas why this is healing that you can go back, and I do want to show this. It's important too. I can tell you we're probably going to need the darts. All right. So we added some extra items here that you would not necessarily need. So let's make some adjustments to start at home base. All right. You've got this here. We've got these walls here. We already have 1, 2, into the 3 shooting. So when they were to come out, we still have that there. So you can get those darts all back. The sides would still protect you. I have no problem with those. I don't believe you would need this dart, but 1, 2, into the 3. If they walked across here, it would protect you. I'd probably still leave that one just in case. But you can definitely get those 4 back. Not needed. So that's the home base adjustment I would make. Be reminded that we actually sent them through 2 locations. You could make an adjustment here and do an entire rebuild and get rid of all this, honestly, if you wanted to. Meaning you would just block this off instead like you would in Endurance in the future. And then just run the outside darts. But I like to feed them through there. But if you're really hurting for resource this time, that's a nice place to go get it. All right, so that's your home base and the adjustments you can make there to get some material back. Over here on the Bravo. All right. I was watching them a little bit, and I actually saw a couple of husks at this point. So I would consider a repurpose here, believe it or not, based on the last build. Okay. I would probably add a couple of those darts here and here. Even though we just got some back, I'd still add them here. I saw them getting a little deep on the build here. Okay, I would keep all of this. You've got 1, 2, and 3. So when they peek their head up here, the darts are hitting. So that's all good. I'd keep all of this, though. It all plays here.
Whoa, sorry.
All right, we'll come back and upgrade that in a moment so we can keep moving. All right, then you have your dip amplifier here that I've shown you. I like everything that we have here. We just added the extra strength on the walls. There's nothing that I would adjust here either. I like this. I think you should keep it for now. I would tell you at the end you could potentially, but I'd keep it safe for yourself. I wouldn't mess with what we've done there. And then again, you just keep making your darts. And you start deciding, well, how many darts do I still need, right? All right, go back to the west side and upgrade that one more time. Just in case you get something that sneaks out here. Because I was watching, and as I mentioned, I saw a couple of husks at this point. But you got to think, you're here and they're in. So you're going to see the husks here. I think just a couple of additional would not be a bad move here.
Not possible.
Okay. And then if you have your base, you're golden. You won't have to worry about it. All right, so that takes care of all that. Then we head over to the drop amp. Okay, and we have all of this built out here. And honestly, I didn't see anything getting up to this point. All right, so I would get rid of these 2 tiles here. I don't believe you need them. All right, you still have the darts to protect you here if you needed it. I still like your build on this side, though. It is a little bit thinner, but you're golden here. So again, just come on back. Sorry about the slip there. Drop that in. All right, then we go back to our build. And we finish our upgrades. Making sure everything's properly tiered and where it needs to be.
Nope.
And don't be surprised, as I mentioned, if something tries to work their way through here. It's okay because you have it protected, as I just mentioned to you. Good luck to them. They're going to have a tough time. All right, wooden floor spikes. 1, 2, and 3 here. One, 2, and 3 here. And then you've got your one right up here. This is your gas. All right, gas and gas. Gas here and gas. Actually, no gas there because that's your block off. All right, so that's good. All right, if you have anything left, just go ahead and break it down. Our darts go in. And then remember, on 9, as you are working, you should be farming. And then you would be able to get some more if you needed to place it for 10. Again, something to think about. All right, and if it comes to darts now, we're going to go definitely at the end, where they're most likely to come through. I would have a couple up here and here. You got one here. Right, one here and here. And then you were looking at just a couple of additional darts. So honestly, just so I can show you, I think it's a good teaching point here. If this were me, and based on the build that I've given you,
Yeah, not possible.
I would come over here. All right. And what I would do is I'd come back here and get all this back. Build it back to how I had it with your opening. Same would all apply here. I'd come get all your traps and I would block this off. So let me show you how you can do that. And this is something that you will do in the future anyway. When it comes to your endurance. So you're kind of getting your endurance ready anyway in advance. Okay, and then you would get more, you'd have more resource back in your pocket. Okay, block off here. Okay. This is edited here. Let's just go under it. You can see how it's blocked. All right. I would match it to the same direction, to the southeast. This comes down for now. Floor goes in. Edit. Wall. And you'd put one dart out here, and then this is your block off. And you don't need anything else here. You will be just fine here. Now in endurance, you might want to consider an extra wave. But yes, you are theoretically stressing this tunnel here. But I've prepared you. You have a lot of heat out here. And you should, and remember, you do have your slow field, and I do recommend that you use it. It's the absolute, in my opinion, best gadget in this game. Every loadout that you have in Save the World Even when you're doing something like the Storm King, in my opinion, you should always have it.
Whoa, sorry.
So good. And it is one of my favorite weapons as well, when I mention weapons. All right, so then your dart, and you just come back. See how we can make the darts we need now? And it's part of the deal, right? You got to know how to redistribute in the game at times to make it all work. But if you've done your job farming and you have the loot to this point, then you don't need to do that. And I will tell you, I've been farming quite a bit. But I'm thinking already about my endurance in the future. This is all an investment in the future for what we have going. All right. And then that would be the updated block off section for you here.
Sorry.
All right, so just one more time because we're over here.
Yeah, not
Grab some storage. So we don't have to come back just in case, right? I would just top off for a second with your metal. Opening stays here until the wave starts. If you felt like you had something coming through here, again, you have a couple of dart options here. If for some reason you felt you needed them. I don't believe that you do though. All right. Oh, actually, I would put your other one here. We did take that down. I would still keep that one. Okay. That way you have a cross section of darts coming, and then again, the darts will shoot through here and catch them as soon as they walk to here. So I'd have that. They will sometimes try to walk around this way into here. But I don't know. Okay. Anyway, finish your upgrades. I'll finish that final upgrade as we work back in. Everything is golden now. We head back to our build. I would finish with the remainder when it comes to the darts that you have. Now available to you. Nothing on these walls. I'd leave those. I would try to work out and around. I'll show you here in a second. This is all good. I would work up here and out in this area here. And I'd add 1, 2, 3 into the 4.
Let's see.
And you'd be perfect then. All right. So this would be step by step how to build and trap your field flex amplifier in preparation for your attacks from the east, the south, and we're going to call it the southwest, or you could say west. But we have it blocked, so we shouldn't have an issue. Base once again goes here or on the tunnels. That base there would spread around. You'd be fine. And we have 1 and 2 more dart sections here. Maybe if I came back in the future, during the actual run, we'll farm some planks and we'll put these traps in before 10. We might have a few adjustments to make too, because the storm shield bubble works against us. So let's go now and show you how to defend it. And we will upgrade here. And before we go in to activate, we make sure everything has a chance to finish healing. And it saves. Now what I actually do sometimes, just to make sure, I'll go farm like a tree or something at the end, just to make sure if that resource is valuable enough to you, like the metal, for instance, if you want that 30 metal back. But you do need to wait till it's healed before you start. And again, anything you destroy before is gone forever, so the game internally kind of saves that. So it's a good little thing to do. And there you go. All right. And again, feel free to go grab yourself, you know, a searchable or something. And then boom, you know. All right. So let's go now. And activate. And then let us defend. Your Storm Shield Defense, number 9. Remember, if you cannot solo it, I recommend you do not complete it. The game is telling you to pump the brakes. Whoa, right? Hold on. If you can't solo, might not be, you know, the right time to move forward. Let's go ahead and expand.
Here we go. Shield power increasing.
Base will go on top of the amplifier here.
Prepare
If
for
you have any
attack from the
concerns out here on your block off, you could always throw your base there and work it across. Then as soon as the wave starts, the countdown goes. Okay. You got base would go down. And if you don't have any traps, just make yourself a trap real quick if you can't access your trap wheel.
Not so fast.
Something about the game, you have to have at least one trap in there. And then seal this down so you don't have any opening. All right. Another thing I like to do too when I'm running actively in an endurance or storm shield, I remove all of my wood, stone, and metal out so that we're good. And then be reminded that you have your slow field and your plasma pulse that I do want you to be using. Why would you not? Nothing wrong with that. All right, at the beginning of your channel. But you won't have to use any handheld weapons. All right. Any other abilities. You have your bull rush. I'm not going to tell you not to use your free abilities if you need to. And you can see here, they're getting a little bit out and deep on it. It's a good test. And then you know on 10, hey, do I need to come back and add something because we removed it? But anyway, while you are waiting, and because you have your base on your amplifier, you don't even need to be looking. Again, we need some more darts, right? So our hero loadout that I've recommended to you gives you the increased build health when it comes to structures covered by your base, plus your passive healing with the power base. Then you got your machinist for your tough traps, for extra trap durability for those traps we're running, for all traps across the storm shield, whether your base is covering them or not, with the tough traps, by the way. Your battle beat or breakbeat wildcat and crossbones barrett. These would be 2 heroes that I'd recommend flux on if they're not in the current season. The battle beat will go and put you into rock and rift, which will help your melee, right? And then the coconuts could give you a little bit extra when it comes to your damage. But you should be out here now. Believe in the build. Don't even go out and mess with it. Don't aggro anything.
Am I right?
Just let it work. And if there's anything that I want you to take from Stonewood in this entire journey that we've had here, you have to believe in your builds in this game. You have to be willing to take your eyes off the build, especially when you get into limited time modes like Frost Knight, Survive the Horde. You've got to do it, my friends. You've got to believe in it. Now, because you closed down that one side of the trap tunnel on your home base, it's a good chance that you're going to see a little bit more action. So I think I saw an enemy getting through and on the base here. Let's go take a look at it.
We have a break in the action.
I'm not at all worried about it. But
Another wave coming soon. Prepare for an attack from the west.
do you see anything weak here? I do not see anything weak. All right. Do you see anything weak out here? We do. All right. So what does this tell us? The next time that you come in, you would want to block this off, 2 additional block offs. But we're good now. We have what we need. We're not concerned. We've got enough heat here right now. We're fine. But next time around, make sure you get another block off going. Remember, a lot of this we're just scratch building too. Off experience, if you will. All right, same thing again. Go middle center on your trap tunnel. Slow field goes down, right? Plasma, and you run. And if you have coconuts for consumables, I would have those ready. And I do like seeing the coconuts more so in the Storm Shield than I used to. Oh, make sure you cover your base, or you collect your base too before you move it. That's important. But back to the farm now. Again, no shots with handheld weapons, right? No ammunition exhausted, no defender use, right? Your gadget of the slow field, which is fine. If you have your plasma, why not? If you have your bull rush, why not? You don't need to though. Like that plasma that we're throwing there, you don't have to throw that. You'll be just fine. But I like to look back and see, you know, is anything coming? Do I see any enemies getting through there, you know, yet? No, I just saw a couple darts shoot from across, so they're getting a little deeper now. But that's why we come in here and farm a bit. And then we can extend and add for 10. But for the most part, you're completely AFK. If you don't throw that slow field, right? You could consider yourself AFK. You could set and forget it and not even worry about it. Just put your base down. To me, AFK, you're still working. That's just how I roll out. Right. I don't take time off when I'm playing Save the World. I'm always farming, working, doing something of benefit for us here. And this will all, again, be back on the
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
area here once it, you know, once you come back in, everything regenerates. Because you're farming during the actual defense.
Yeah, not possible.
And then in between the waves, just go take a look, grab your base, grab the loot that might be out in the field, right? And see for 10 what you might need to adjust. Like an additional layer of block off over here, for instance, if you want it. Collect your loot out in the field from your previous attacks, right? Nice big ticket item, probably like a smasher or something there. Forgive me, I do not have my headset on right now. So.
Sorry.
But all of this loot is ours. You saw the action here a bit. That's some pretty good use with the darts too. You can see our durability's down. So if you have a secondary attack there, we'll have to see. Your slow field would go in the front of that then. Basically. But we'll take care of it.
Nope.
Remember, if you ever have extra coconuts on the ground,
Oh, sorry.
I would eat
We have a break in the action.
and top yourself back off and then
Another
grab your
wave
coconuts.
coming soon.
All right, we have 20, 30 seconds in between. I see a little action right here. So enemies are trying to get to you there. So that is another area that we would come in to adjust. So you need to adjust this stuff when you see it. All right.
Yeah.
All right, collect our base.
Oh, sorry.
Grab our loot. Over to the dip amp. Or our alpha. Go in. And then right here, I would do that. Make sure you eat your coconut too if you use an ability. We'll just slow it down and then we'll work our way out and up. Now, if you don't have the slow fill once again, don't worry about it. I would like you to have your slow fill at this point. That means that you've taken your time with the storyline and you've put some work in and You've been patient. All right, you've pumped the brakes. You haven't gone into Plankerton yet. You know, you're still looking in Stonewood. You're gathering, you know, maybe some perk ups, some evolution materials. You know, whatever it might be. No. Too much rushing in Save the World, I'll tell you, from my experience and what I've seen. And as I mentioned in the series, when we went to get the Breakbeat Wildcat, I told you we would use them, and we'd use them often. In case in point right here. If you get to the build back over there on your Homebase amplifier, before the next wave occurs, you might want to go ahead and you could adjust, right? You could build the structure back, the wall back, but just note anything you build during is gone forever. So that'd be something that you'd want to take consideration for sure.
So beautiful.
And let me just show you what we're looking at, right? We're going to need more darts potentially in the future. We still need some of the twine to make them. So we need a lot of trees here. I'd let go of the rocks for a moment. And then, of course, if you do not get the twine that you need, then you should go farm it before you go into 10. Maybe go do a mission for the day. Maybe there is an X-ray ticket mission available, a hero that you need, a schematic for your collection book, a survivor for your squads.
Oh, sorry.
We have a break in the action. Another wave coming.
And then once you go into out of Rock and Rift, you can see the difference, right? All right, so back we go. Looks like we got the Charlie for number 4. And or your drop amplifier. So before, again, you move your base, please make sure you collect from it if you have your recycling. Then we'll go with the base. We did take a little off this build as well to repurpose.
Sorry.
Same thing would apply. We have 600 enemies for elimination. I would literally stand right here for a moment. Eat your coconut. I'd throw my slow field right here. And plasma, and I'd run. And then when your slow field's back and ready, throw it again.
Look out.
And again, if you don't have the slow field, don't worry about it. Just make sure your base is down and let the build work. All right, and then we're going to go back and focus on some trees. That's what we need right now.
Nope.
And or stone consumables, you know, whatever. It's tough to leave things behind when I farm. I don't like to. I like to farm everything I see, so. But our focus should be trees right now, because that's what we need. Also getting our resin from the trees. And then in about 48 seconds, we'd go back and throw that slow field again. Check your build. Make sure you don't have any enemies, you know, aggroed or hitting one of your builds. All right, let's head on back for a moment. Go with that slow field again. All the way back to the drop in. Same thing here. Get your coconut ready, eat. Slow fill goes down, plasma goes in, and you run. And you can see though, they're not even getting anywhere deep in that tunnel. Like, everything's getting shredded early. But you're gonna have a durability issue there with your trap. You just will early on. Now you can also, if you don't want the strength of the base Kyle, you could go ahead and run Machinist as your main to help with your durability. That's a good tip, by the way. Just put base Kyle in your support team, get the passive or standard increase to your building health, right? And then instead flip it and get more trap durability. And be reminded that we're only using those 3 traps, right? Again, we'll cover that. We have our common wooden floor spikes and our uncommon wall darts and gas trap. That's it. Now the twine that we are needing for the dart here would be in the mission. We're not seeing the one we need right now. It's not loading the proper twine. So you would need to go out after this mission and go hit. I'd go into your 19 level zone or whatever it is, you know, you have access to in Stonewood for a moment. Just go grab some trees for a moment. Go do a mission before you go into 10. Now the twine we are getting here will be useful in the future. You can use it for wooden, you know. We'll show you if we get in there in the future.
Nope. Nothing personal.
And because we're not getting it now, we'll just farm everything. Why not, right?
Oh, sorry.
We know going in now we're gonna have to go farm a little bit in a mission.
We have a break in the action.
All right, so back we go.
Another wave coming soon. Prepare for an attack from the east.
Now they're going to attack us on our flex field amp. Looks probably like an east direction attack. So I would go grab.
Nope.
Our material. And we'll go throw our base down. It's a 4-minute wave. And then you'll kind of see, do you have enough juice in the tunnel to get it done? All right, so I would go ahead and eat the coconut. Slow fill, throw your plasma right there and let it run. And then we're going to go hit the mine carts and then go collect the field from the other attack that we just had down here. And same thing, be mindful. Make sure you don't have any target areas. We'll have to come back and another upgrade there, it looks like. You can see here your wooden floor spikes actually burnt out right here.
Yeah, not possible.
Here too. Darts are burnt. So they're going to start working into, but we have enough to get us through the storm shield. And we still have a bunch back here if we needed it.
Not so fast.
So another thing you could do is after running that and you see how far they get, maybe you don't want to have all the, you can go ahead and repurpose this back here. If you know they're not getting to this point, you could potentially. I wouldn't. I like the finisher there, but let everybody choose what they want to do there. That's what I say. Whatever you feel is best. In the end, the builds are just supposed to help you with your journey. You can make them your own. You can adjust them to your playstyle more. You should do that actually anyway when you're using others' builds or concepts or ideas. I would absolutely come grab this metal though, these carts and stuff.
Whoa, sorry.
And then back we go again. Climb the wall. A little bit of action here. Right. So I'd come in, eat this here, throw your slow field down, plasma, run again. I'd actually probably just for a moment. Now we might have some propane or something here coming through, so you don't want to be standing in your trap tunnels during the defense, but we're just dropping the slow field to go out. But be aware if you're standing there and they have some propane, you could do more harm than good there for sure. And that's what we look like we have going. We got a little propane, I think, going in there.
Stock up.
All right, a little bit more stone.
You did it!
And that would be how to, again, build, trap, and defend your home base Storm Shield Defense number 9. So let's go ahead and load out and see our rewards. And then in our next episode, we will prepare for your 10th defense. So for our rewards for the completion of our defense, we did receive our XP amounts, our mini reward llamas, and then our V-Bucks and X-ray tickets. We were also able to complete a couple of our daily quests as well. All right. So we have all that. And otherwise, in our next episode, we will be taking on your home base Storm Shield Defense number 10.